Toluene diisocyanate is shipped in a variety of packages to customers all over the world. Almost all shipments make it to their intended destination without incident, and most are transferred without a drop being spilled. But regardless of how carefully procedures are followed, emergencies do occur. If this happens, it's important that you respond in the appropriate manner. In this section, we will discuss emergency response to a TDI spill within a facility, as well as disposal procedures. The best time to think about how to respond to an emergency situation is not when the emergency is taking place. An emergency response plan must be in place before handling TDI. The emergency response plan will give you the information you need to control a release of TDI, prevent injury to yourself or your coworkers, or damage to the environment. In addition to your facility's emergency response plan, some manufacturers may supply their own in-house emergency response telephone numbers and contacts in case of an incident involving a spill, leak, or damage. All TDI producers are registered with Chemtrec, the Chemical Transportation Emergency Center, established by the American Chemistry Council. Chemtrec is staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, toll-free at 1-800-424-9300, and is available to provide emergency response information. A call to Chemtrec will provide first action advice on handling procedures for emergencies involving TDI, and they will also make contact with the manufacturer. Providing accurate information to Chemtrec is imperative in order to receive correct response information. It is important to identify the product by its trade name. All producers of TDI have response capabilities and can provide assistance if requested. If a package arrives at your facility and is leaking, follow your company's emergency plan or call the product manufacturer for assistance. In the event of an incident, only trained and qualified individuals should be allowed into the spill area. Never approach a spill without the appropriate personal protective equipment, including an approved air-supplied positive pressure breathing apparatus. In order to control the spill, the first action is to stop the flow of product from the source. This should only be done if it can be accomplished safely. If you puncture a drum with a forklift, leave the forks in the drum and obtain assistance to clean up the spill. Spilled TDI must not be allowed to flow into drains or sewers. To stop the spread of the spilled material, use absorbent materials such as vermiculite, sawdust, clay earth, sweeping compound, or sand to create a barrier around the spill or the inlet to the sewer or drain. Depending on the size of the incident, spill pillows or other containment materials may be used to prevent further spreading of the product. Once the spill has been stopped, absorbed, pumped off, or removed from the receiving surface, and there is no chance of further spread of the product, the area must be decontaminated with an appropriate neutralizing agent. Consult the product manufacturer's MSDS or contact the product manufacturer for neutralizing solution recommendations. The neutralizing solution, as well as the absorbent material, should be prepared ahead of time and be readily available should an emergency arise. Apply the neutralizing solution over the entire spill area. The recommended ratio for thorough decontamination is 10 parts of neutralizing solution to 1 part spilled material. Once the neutralizing solution has been applied, cover the area with additional absorbent material. Spread the absorbent material around to aid in contact between the surface and the neutralizing solution. Then shovel all of the absorbent material into a metal drum. Apply neutralizing solution again to ensure adequate decontamination. Place the lid loosely on the drum and move it to a well-vented area in case further reaction occurs. Do not tighten the lid because dangerous pressures may result from the neutralization process. Carbon dioxide gas is generated through the neutralization process, so the drum should be monitored frequently and the lid should not be securely applied until the reaction is complete. All protective equipment must be disposed of properly or thoroughly cleaned and decontaminated after use. Any waste material that has been generated during spill cleanup must be disposed of in accordance with federal, state, and local regulations. TDI is a hazardous waste, listed as U-223 under the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act. Depending upon the circumstances and the amount of the spillage, federal, state, and local agencies may have to be notified. Of course, your company's own hazardous materials team or outside contractor will be able to judge this. Containers used for waste disposal must be labeled in accordance with DOT and EPA waste regulations. After the product has fully reacted and prior to disposal, tighten the lid on the drum securely. Always check with regulatory authorities for proper disposal procedures. In this section, we have discussed the recommended procedures for emergency response to a TDI spill, as well as disposal procedures. If you have any further questions or are unsure of the actions required of you, ask your supervisor or team leader, or contact the product manufacturer. For more information on the topics covered in this section, read the following literature developed by the Center for the Polyurethanes Industry: Model Respiratory Protection Program, TDI User Guidelines for Protective Clothing Selection, Working with TDI, What You Should Know, Guidelines for Responsible Disposal of Waste and Containers from Polyurethane Processing,